Well, hi there, guys, and good night from Brazil. It's currently, what are we? 8:30 in the evening here here at my hotel in Paracuru in Brazil, and yeah, it's been a very non-productive day for me today. The reason for that is I got invited to a good friend of mine who's Italian, and we had some good food, and the red wine kept flowing all night long, so it was kind of those. I usually don't drink that much anymore, you know. I'll have a few beers. I'm a beer lover myself, and I'll have a couple of beers before going to bed. But yeah, yesterday was one of those times where I felt like we've been in lockdown for weeks on end, so we figured let's get together and make a good night out of it, you know, with some good friends. And after all, it is Easter anyway, so. But yeah, I think it was one bottle too many yesterday. So, but anyways, that was been so it's been like that's been my day all day. Is just you know, non-productive, just laying in bed, and I've been trying to do some work, but I've really, you know how it is. So, but in the end, I was actually laying in bed and I was going through my channel, and I was going through some of the older content that was on my channel, and I was reading a lot of these comments that you guys left, and just to make that perfectly clear, I really appreciate all the comments, and I love reading through them, and even, you know, if it's negative comments, or mostly of them are positive, of course, you know, thank you for that. But negative comments are also welcome. It just if you don't agree with something that I'm saying, you know, it's nice to know. It's nice to hear about it. So I was reading a lot of these comments, and there was especially one video that I put out here. I think it's around 6-7 months ago. There's a video that I put out about crime in Brazil. It's funny because it's one of those videos who's got who's got the most views, not surprisingly, but you know, most of the videos, they have like 100 and 200 views or something like that, because my channel is so new. But this video already in a half a year has already, you know, over 4,000 views, and obviously it has a lot of comments, and you know, a lot of you are actually agreeing with the message that I'm trying to get across, about that there is a lot of myths about crime in general in Brazil. You know, it's not like you come to Brazil as a tourist and as soon as you leave the airport you're gonna get a gun to your head. You know, there are actually people that believe that Brazil is that bad, but trust me, it's really not. And you need to take it from me as a foreigner, you know, who's been living here now for 15 years and has never been robbed, has never had an issue whatsoever with crime here in Brazil. So just take it from me. But of course, that being said, it doesn't mean that, you know, you can go out flashing your Rolex watch and your new iPhone 12, 13, whatever the latest model is out there nowadays. But you get my point, yeah? That there is something that's called common sense, and it's something that doesn't really only apply to Brazil. It applies to the US, it applies to, you know, you go to Paris, you know, it's like I've been mugged in Paris, I've been mugged in London, and I believe in Bali I actually got robbed really bad. But here in Brazil, 15 years, nothing. So, you know, and these things also, they happen, you know. People get unlucky, they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know. And as a tourist, especially if it's your first time in Brazil, of course, you know, these things, you're not gonna know every single place where you shouldn't go, you know, where it's safe, where it's not safe, you know. This is something you need to do the research, you know. You need to kind of be wary. And it's like, for me, I learned to relax a lot more, because now I know exactly how to behave here, where to go, where not to go, where to avoid. You know, my whole body language, you know, it's I kind of know how to act, and And that being said as well, you know, if I'm out on the beach or if I'm walking my dogs here late at night out in the streets, you know, I'm kind of aware of my surroundings, and I kind of watch out, you know. You kind of have that, I don't know, that sixth sense, you know, that you're kind of aware of your surroundings. So I think that's something that comes with time, of course. But my initial point is, you know, Brazil is a wonderful country. It's a beautiful country. It's a huge country. It's big, you know, but it's absolutely worth a visit as a tourist. You know, it should be on your bucket list, definitely. And I'm not only talking about Rio de Janeiro, you know, of course, you know, spend a weekend in Rio, you know, go to Copacabana, go to Ipanema Beach, but then leave, you know, go travel around the country, you know, see places. But anyways, I wanna just get to the point, and this video, I just want to go through some of these comments, and instead of just writing them, you know, replying them on my channel, you know, I would like to actually read through them, and then it's better for me to explain, you know, verbally what my thoughts are, and just instead of just putting it down on writing. So let's go and let's have a look at, you know, some of these comments that you guys left for me here. Okay. this first comment, I just keep smiling every time I see it, because this is, I mean, I'm just gonna read it out because I just laugh because I can relate. Okay, you know, but the biggest problem in Brazil is when you leave your wife, then you get robbed that you don't believe. Who was it? Mario Koeman. Sounds like you're from the Netherlands or something like that. You know, let me know. But yeah, I can relate. I recently got divorced. It's not cheap, you know, and it's the way that it works here. It's kind of like the U.S. as well, you know. You know, it's they have the women. They have a lot of rights there, so you gotta watch you gotta watch out. Don't be naive, you know, like I was when I came here. And I'm a very naive guy. I trust way too much, you know, in people. But of course, you learn as you live. And I think Mario also, he was probably also one of these naive guys. So yeah, but that's a good one. But anyways, let's move on. And this is from Umkar. I have watched many robbery and violence video for self-defense, and I can tell that every third video was from Brazil. I don't know if this is like violence videos like on YouTube or stuff like that. And of course, yeah, if you go and search, there are a lot of like self-defense, and there are like a lot of documentaries, stuff like that for the special force police and all of that stuff. But when you're talking about like the classics, the films, there's a lot of good movies coming out that are produced here in Brazil. Of course, one of the City of God, of course, that's a classic, you know. A lot of you guys have probably seen that already. And there's another one that's maybe not so known, but I think it should be available on Netflix, and it's called Tropa de Elite, like the elite troop, and they made actually two of them. So you have the first one and the second one. They're excellent movies, and it's definitely worth a watch. You know, it's basically around the special task force in Rio de Janeiro, and how they go into the favelas, you know, and deal with the drug lords and everything, and how they, you know, how the different police departments, how corruption is you know, just baked into the society there. And it's an excellent movie, and especially when this actor, Brazilian actor, I think his name is Wagner Moura. If you have seen the documentary on Netflix, what is that called? Narcos. He's the guy who plays Pablo Escobar. He's the same guy, and who plays in the Tropa de Elite, like the main guy and the special task force. Excellent movie, both of them. You should watch them. But yeah, there is a lot of violence and movies coming like from Brazil. Obviously, it's but this is also what I'm mentioning, and that I mentioned in my video, this original video as well, is that of course it is mostly drug related. You know, it's like all the violence, the statistics of the homicides and everything. You know, I believe like over 90% is all drug, you know, cartels and the police and all that stuff. It's like different factions, you know, killing each other over territory. So it's a lot of that going on, and that is what I'm trying to inform you about in this video. That, you know, that's going on there, and if you stay away from those places, you should be all right. Moving on, Christopher Tote, dangerous city list. Wow, St. Louis. We don't seem that dangerous, but I can believe the change crazy. It is crazy, and there are actually a few American cities on that list as well. So it's like, it's not only Brazil, but the thing is, if you look at that list of the 100 most dangerous violent cities list, you know, that come out every single year, you see like the South American, especially Brazil, they just dominate that list. You know, it's just city after city after city, and Fortaleza usually is on the top 10, you know, every single year. So, and Fortaleza is obviously the city closest to where I live. Moving on, Joe, very educational, especially for the tourists. Well, thanks, Joe, appreciate that. Ted RT, thanks for the well thought out video. I hope you continue to upload more videos. Boas coisas, thank you, my friend. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to upload as much as I can now. David Goodman, hi my friend, thanks for the very informative video. Can I ask why you decided to settle in Fortaleza as opposed to other cities, towns? Thanks in advance. I could make that a completely different video, you know, telling about why I actually moved here. I could do that, but it's basically, I'm just gonna make it really short. When I came here 15 years ago, I came here as a tourist, and I came here solely because there was a friend of mine. I am a kite surfer, and he told me that the conditions are like pristine here for kite surfing, and he was 100% correct. They are just like, here is probably the biggest playground you can imagine. If you're a surfer, if you're a kite surfer, and also if you're a paraglider, like I came into paragliding, so I do a lot of flying, all of those sports. It's just like, it's the best combination, it's the best, you know, because you'll be doing like one of the two always, you know. You're either be flying a paraglider or you'll be surfing or kite surfing or whatever, you know. You can do it like all year round basically. So that is a reason, like the very short version, why I came here. But yeah, thanks for that feedback anyways, David. And my good friend Vovo Bill in Brazil, my daughter's apartment in Guyana, where she has the guards in the dark tower. They buzz you through the gate, then you have a facial recognition camera at the main entrance door. Once through that door, upon closing it, I'm just not going to read all of this, but yeah, it's basically, it's also what I explained in my videos. You know, if you live in the bigger cities, and especially in these big condos and you know, apartment buildings, they'll have like a security guard. And especially if you bring like friends or family or something like that, usually you need to register, and they take like a snapshot of your face or something like that, and usually they will have that in your record, so you only do it like one time. So there's a lot of like security stuff that they do there, you know, just to make it like safe. Leon Berg, I am enjoying learning about Brazil from your videos. Thanks, man. I had a long discussion yesterday online with someone here in the USA who said Brazil is dangerous, but my boyfriend tells me it's not that bad. I'm from the US. I'm planning to relocate as a retiree expat to Brazil this year. I have a Brazilian boyfriend. My grandfather immigrated from Norway to the US over 100 years ago. That's cool. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Norwegian settlers to the U.S. That's cool to hear that you have some Norwegian blood in you. Uh, yeah, not a lot to say about that. I wish you all the best of luck. As a retiree in Brazil, just do your research. Just find out where you think it's safe. And especially if there's other foreigners, try and find some other, maybe expats living there and get their opinions on the place and if they feel safe and yeah, should because it's going to be your new home, so you want to do some research. You just don't want to watch some photos and it's going to be a nice beach or whatever and it's going to be abandoned, and just remember to do your research first so you don't have any regrets. But I wish you all the luck, Leon. Thanks for that comment. And there's a Norwegian guy, mye nyttig informasjon, tusen takk for det. Basically what is he saying is a Norwegian, a lot of useful information. Thanks Eric. Sid Miguel, my engineering teacher, was Brazilian. He had nothing bad but things to say about the place. I think I'll just avoid the godforsaken country altogether. I'm sorry to hear that, Sid. I think you're making a huge mistake. You say, like, my engineering teacher was Brazilian. Look, I'll tell you, a lot of my friends, and it's like a lot of my friends, my Brazilian friends, they don't have a lot of good things to say about their own country. It's extremely sad, and I don't really get it. But I guess they're looking, outside, how things are outside of Brazil, and I don't know if he actually lived in a poor neighborhood or where he grew up or whatever, but you turn on the news also in Brazil and there's not a lot of positive stuff coming out of the news. It's mostly murders and it's usually the government screwing them over or something just terrible. And so I guess maybe that's why they have such a negative outlook, attitude towards their own country. Not all Brazilians are like that, of course, but a lot of them are. Majority of my Brazilian friends, they have very little good stuff to say about Brazil, which I don't get it. I think it's extremely sad to hear. I mean, you need to remember, I come from, I was born and raised in Norway. I grew up in Norway. It's one of the safest countries in the world. The government is one of the richest countries in the world. We don't have any debt. It's like the oil fund is it's like one of the the largest funds in the world, and the healthcare. Everything works. Everything is like it's like for anybody living outside of Norway, looking at Norway, it's like the perfect model, it's like paradise. It's like there's nothing really to complain about. Everything just works. I mean, it's crazy expensive to live there, but then again, the wages are high. You make good money, working in Norway. So but then again, this is where I grew up. This is the country where I'm from. And I don't miss it. I don't want to go back. I love Brazil. I love this place here. Everything, it's like I said, I feel safe here. Nothing's ever happened. Of course, there are a lot of stuff that is wrong with this country. But what I'm getting at, like, if you're an entrepreneur like me, if you run a business, if you invest in Brazil, you have the cash, you have the means to pay your bills, to get food on the table, and build a house that's safe, get some security, get a health plan. If you can afford all that and you can make it here, it's an incredible country to live in. I mean, but that is, of course, that is one man's opinion. That is my opinion. Your experience, of course, can be totally different. But anyways, I'm kind of sidetracking again, but I'm just trying to respond, just trying to think why he would say this, this teacher. But anyway, Sid, I'm sorry to hear that. I think if you really want to go to Brazil, take a couple of weeks, travel around the country, see for yourself. But, just don't take one opinion from a Brazilian that it's such a terrible place and then decide not to go. I think that's a huge mistake on your part. But anyways. So this is Alison Capi Rodrigues Silva. I don't know if you're Brazilian, but Alison Capi, probably. Great advice, so true. Regardless of where a person lives or countries a person visits, they need common sense. In America, where I live, New Jersey and the New York area, a person needs to be careful because these cities have many areas a visitor should not travel to or visit because it could be very dangerous. So, yeah, exactly. That is my whole point, there's places in the U.S., cities that you want to avoid altogether. It's the same here in Brazil, it's the same all over the world, so common sense, guys. I visited Salvador Bahia. I've never been there actually, but for the last 5 years, Rio and Sao Paulo, and I think these cities are very nice and safe as long as a person uses common sense. And now, what sites and neighborhoods to visit? Thank you for your informative videos. I truly enjoy them, and you explain life in Brazil very well. Thank you very much, Alison. I do appreciate that. Chio. I spent a week in Sao Bernardo, Sao Paulo, visiting my boyfriend. I flew from Dubai. I'm originally from the Philippines. I'm a Dubai expat. Cool. When I was on the plane, I was told by a Brazilian local to take care of my belongings, not to wear fine gadgets while in public because the country is very dangerous for tourists, even at the airport. Okay, I think he's like, it's those scare tactics again, and I don't understand why the Brazilians, the own Brazilians, why they do this, why they try and scare tourists like this. They shouldn't do that. They should actually do the opposite, But he's telling her like not to wear your. It's basically what I'm saying again. Don't wear your Rolex watch, down to Copacabana Beach. Don't wear, Don't go with your cell phone like this, and it's like take selfies with your brand new iPhone, It's so easy for people to snatch it. But this is what I'm saying. It's common sense. Just use common sense, guys. You'll be fine. There's more here. It's you wrote quite a lot. I'm just gonna browse through as I come out. Luckily, so Japanese really clear. Okay. I just go to the end. I love Brazil, but of course take care always, and most importantly, pray. Okay, I think I don't think you need to pray every time you go out to the streets, But anyways, thank you for the comment, Chio. Once again, it looks like you enjoyed Brazil anyways, so that's good. Alan Almeida. Okay, this guy is writing in Portuguese. I'm just gonna go really, browse through. I'm gonna try and translate what it says. What he's saying is like the studies or the data from this list are very old. It was made some years ago from an institution, from Mexican institution that got the dates from 2016, 17. Had a lot of repercussions here in Fortaleza. I'm not sure what he means by that, but anyways, the fact is that Fortaleza has a lot of homicides, but like you cited, they are like targeted at a specific audience or a specific group of people, like the factions, the drug factions, everything. So he's basically agreeing with me. About this list, I don't know. It says this list that I got here, it was taken from it's like recent, I believe it was from 2020. But anyways, he says it's old data. I'm not sure. I can't confirm that at all. Yeah, so he's saying like in Brazil, it's not really a production of drugs. You know, most of the drugs that are also informed in this video are coming from Colombia or Bolivia. But the Brazil is the second largest consumer in the world of drugs outside of the USA. I did not know that. That's quite interesting. I wasn't aware of that. But it makes sense since Brazil is actually bordering, you know, they border all of these countries here. And I can imagine that, you know, I've heard that they use the Amazon River is one of these, like the lifelines where all these drugs, they come in from these two countries. So they actually reduced the homicides, you know, in half. It looks like. Essa taxa de homicídios não é bom parâmetro. So it's not a good parameter to actually to measure the level of violence. That is kind of like a distortion of the reality. And I completely agree with him. Alan, eu concordo totalmente com você. Eu acho que também que essa aqui não mostra a realidade como está hoje. So it doesn't show the actual, you know, the true reality. That's basically what I'm saying. So I agree with what he's saying. Muito obrigado, Alan, pela resposta aí. So moving on, I was trying to go a little bit more quickly here. Herman Vermalen. I come from Espírito Santo, I believe, yes. And there's a place called Serra with a homicide rate higher than Iraq at war. Wow, okay. But the statistics say that most of the numbers have honor defense motivation, which means you won't be robbed there, but call someone a thief and you get killed. Okay. I'm not totally sure if I understand you, but anyways, honor defense motivation. Okay, so if you call someone a thief, then you get killed. Yeah, but I guess you don't call anybody thief. Yeah, but I don't know how to respond to that one, Herman. I'm sorry about that, but wow, higher than Iraq at war. That sounds bad. Yeah, thanks for the feedback, anyways, Herman. Edna Alansar, I am Brazilian and I beg to disagree that Brazil is not a dangerous place to visit. Many members of my family who live in Fortaleza, Sierra, Brazil are mugged quite often. It's scary to visit and live in Brazil, even the small towns and farms. Again, this is coming from Brazilian, and I don't know, Edna, where you live, you know, in Fortaleza, what neighborhood you live, you know. If it's a bad neighborhood, yeah, sure, it's gonna happen. It's a country where a woman cannot wear simple engagement ring with a very small diamond while she goes out. Okay, I mean, my ex-wife, she wore a diamond ring. You know, she went to Fortaleza. You know, she studied there. She took, you know, of course, she drove a car. She didn't take the public transport, but still, you know, she felt, you know, more or less safe. But a child in my family in Aldeota is quite a nice neighborhood in Fortaleza. Walking to school is robbed of his Nike sneakers. Okay, so and had to go home barefoot. My brother, who is a dentist and live in a nice area, had two of his brands. Okay, so there's a lot of, wow, you had a lot of bad experiences here, I say. A few years ago when I visited Fortaleza, one of my nephews was driving me and I kept going through the red lights. Yeah, that is true. They do that here. They can actually, and it's totally loud. I think it's after like 10 o'clock at night until 5 or 6 in the morning. You need to go through slowly, of course, because you need to check for traffic, but you're perfectly allowed to run the red lights after 10 o'clock. And that is for security reasons, because you don't want to be standing still too long. You know, especially in the middle of the night, you're all by yourself, you know, in the car, you'll be an easy target. So this is absolutely correct. I would not say this is not a dangerous place. I am free in America, and I don't feel free in Brazil. You have been very lucky. Well, that's what a lot of people say, that I've been lucky, you know, that I haven't been robbed. You know, I have to disagree, but like I said, it's one person's opinion, you know, and like I said, I'm not saying, you know, it happens, you know, of course it happens. There is a risk you will get mugged. There is a risk, you know, that you'll see, you know, you could be a victim of violence. But my whole point is you can mitigate that risk, you know, significantly if you just if you use your common sense. You know what places to avoid, how to behave, you know, how to act. So that is my whole point. So, but anyways, Ejna, I'm sorry that you have that outlook on the situation on Brazil. However, I appreciate the feedback nonetheless. So let's just move on. Uncracked. I always see this decapitation and shooting videos in Brazil. Well, yeah, there is a lot of that as well. Like I mentioned, there is. I don't know why, but it's very popular to make these violent videos about Brazil, documentaries and stuff like that. But you know, but I think also if you go on YouTube and you search for, you know, Brazil tourism, and you know, you will find a lot of nice videos as well. It's not only just, you know, violence. Jonathan Jonathan Casasanta. Problem in Brazil is the social difference. An iPhone is almost worth a year of minimum wage. Exactly. That's why you don't go around on Copacabana or Ipanema Beach, you know, taking selfies with your brand new iPhone. You know, you just don't do that. Electronics are extremely expensive, well, especially like iPhones and Apple and that sort of stuff. But then again, I don't agree with everything, because you know, you have Samsung and LG and stuff that produce cell phones and TVs and stuff like that here in Brazil, and I find it to be very affordable. Maybe not the same quality and models, but still, you know. But yeah, I get your point. It's especially imported electronics are ridiculous here, you know. I think an iBox or an Xbox or like a PlayStation is like, it's just ridiculous here. It's like you know, $1,500 or something like that for the newest PlayStation here. It's just astronomical. It's ridiculous. Just because they don't make it here, it's all imported. So yeah, but thanks for the feedback, Jonathan. There is a lot of comments. There was more than I thought here, but I think we're nearing the end. Mike Bud, it's funny how the most beautiful, is it people, place, or most beautiful is probably a place I've ever been to, and I've been to many places, my friend, around the world. Cabo, Mexico is #1. It was not violent. It will never be. That list is full of full of crap. It's a tropical paradise there. Yeah, especially I heard that as well about Mexico as well, that a lot of these places are on the list, that people who've been there say it's not that bad at all, you know. It's just because of the, you know, that list, exactly what I'm saying again in the video, that it's you know, it's statistics is taken from the drug cartels and the killings between the factions of territory and all that stuff. So, but anyways, thanks for the feedback, Mike. Liars, I think I will never go to Brazil. You should definitely go to Brazil, liars. I think you are making a huge mistake if you've never been there. You should go. But thanks for the feedback. KY, don't. That's probably what you want to write. Don't you have to wear a mask in Brazil everywhere? Is it the law? Okay, that's beyond the topic here, but Yeah, you have to wear a mask in public, and it is a law. You cannot enter a store or enter anywhere, you know. Yes, the answer to that is yes. Thank you, KY, for that. Yeah, just 2 more to go here. Rogero Pena. Wow, Porto Alegre really got screwed. 40.9 on par with Detroit and New Orleans. Regrettable. It is regrettable. But then again, Porto Alegre, I only been to the airport. It wasn't really a really nice city, I think, but at least because, well, I've been to the airport and we took a bus up to Gramado, for those of you who are my Brazilian friends. A beautiful place. But we took the plane to Porto Alegre, and then we took the bus on to Gramado, and we actually drove through the city. I wouldn't call it like a beautiful city, but I don't know about the violence, but it's on par with Detroit and New Orleans. Yeah, I guess they have their share of crime as well. And the last one, no, when is Brazil not violent? Again, like I said, it's the factions, it's the drugs. Like my opinion, anyways. Celso. Thank you, Salso, for that. Basically, that is the comments, you know, and there's quite a few of them. And so, still, all of these comments here, a lot of you guys, you do agree with me. Even there was even a Brazilian who agreed with me here, especially on my point of views. Alan Almeida. He really understood my point of this video, that, you know, it's a misinterpretation of the real situation, you know, because a lot of these numbers are coming out of all the factions and the drug cartels and everything going on there. And as a tourist, I think if you use your common sense, you will have a good time in Brazil, for sure. I can almost guarantee it. Look, there are those, and I heard stories, I had them confirmed, even from a Norwegian friend of mine, that actually, you know, it's the first time in Brazil, they had their first night in Rio going out to bar and they got robbed, you know, they took everything on the way back to the hotel. It happens. Look, guys, it happens. For me, the first time I was in Paris, France, you know, visiting, I got screwed over just from the airport, you know. They had these shady taxi drivers, not even taxi drivers, you know. As soon as you come out of the, as soon as you pick out your bags, as soon as you come into the arrival hall, they will stand there, they will pick you up, you know, and they'll say, oh, taxi, oh, you get a good price. And then this guy, he will like take a detour, he will overcharge you. And as we came, and that was like the first time, okay, maybe not violent as such, but still, you know, it's still robbery, you know, these guys are screwing you over. And the next day, we were taking the metro, and my wife, she got stolen her iPhone, you know, out of her bag. You know, there was like this musical band, you know, playing, and you know, on the metro, and they were like trying to engage with everybody, so they caught her attention. And of course the third guy, he came in and took her brand new iPhone out of her bag, you know. So that was like the first day in Paris, the first 2 days. So we both got really screwed over. So, and here in Brazil, nothing's ever happened. I never, you know. So it happens, guys. Common sense, be aware, take care, you know, and do your research, and you'll have a good time. It's a beautiful country, guys, okay? So that's it. This video was actually quite long. But I'd just like to really thank you guys for all your comments. I love these. I love reading through these comments. It's like one of my favorite things to do now, especially when I put up a new video. I love when I get this feedback, and I try and respond to every single one. So thank you for that, guys. Like I said, it's a little bit easier for me to talk about, you know, to give responses verbally, just to talk a little bit about this instead of just putting it into text. But I thought there would be, especially this video, since it had so much engagement, I thought I'd, you know, take the time and make this video here. So that's it. Wow, it's almost bedtime for me anyways. I'm still hungover from yesterday, so I'm kind of like really tired. Just trying to hang in there, you know. So I'll probably upload this video tomorrow. I'll do the editing and everything. So thanks guys. I do appreciate it. Have a good night. Enjoy your Easter. And as always, be safe, keep your distance. And please, keep the comments coming in, yeah? And if you do like this video, give me one of these. If you don't like it, give me one of those. Doesn't matter. You know, feel free to subscribe anytime soon. For those of you who are curious, I will do a tour of my hotel. We are nearing the finish, but like I told you earlier, I want to be like 100% finished so you can get the good impression and I can show you everything about the hotel. Because right now there's a lot of construction materials laying around and it's kind of a mess. I don't feel that's appropriate to give you a good first impression of my business here. So again, thank you. Take care until next time. Be safe, guys, and good night. Ciao, ciao.